Number 100, Mike Brown, looking for a sweep after taking the first moto here in the 125s. Trying to take the glory away from number 18, Brock Sellards. You see him with the umbrella over his head. 32nd board up, ready to turn sideways. Will Pastrana rebound and stop the point slide. How about Grant Langston? We're off and running.
Brown got pinched off right away.
A great start for Damon Huffman. Oh, carnage in the first turn. That's Shea Bentley, only a couple of races back. Andridge is another rider, and Billy Payne, it looked like, got mixed up in it, maybe.
Shea walked off to the right. This is Mechanic. It doesn't look good for you. He just leaves the bike, so Shea's not doing too well either.
Out in front, Ernesto Fonseca.
And Brown, who got pinched off the start right away, went through the first corner. Amazing. There's Pastrana. Brown looks like he's up to about fourth already.
Mike Brown is out for a sweep here in Troy, Ohio. Let's go down and check in with Davey Combs. Davey?
Pretty crazy start there in the second 125 motor. Still laying in the first turn are Billy Payne and Derek Shea Bentley. Both those riders just came off injured reserve. In fact, Payne only rode his first national since last year, while Schugel and Unadilla a week ago. They're still down. As for the main contenders, Pastrana got away about 10th, but Langston is further back about 20th. We'll see how that plays out.
Check the start once again, David.
Well, see over here to the right, Payne and Shea get together. Hooked up right there, locked bars, end over end. At least it happened to the outside. The rest of the pack got through there clean. And Brown, he came in about mid-pack and came out smelling like a rose. Pastrana did the same thing the first moto.
Fonseca being pursued by Brock Sellards. Sellards, another great start on that KTM. This could be considered his home track. New Philadelphia, Ohio, he's from. So he's glad to be back home at a place where he won last year.
I've said it 100 times. There's something about coming back to a track where you've won. And you just feel good in the rent-a-car on the way there. You go out and practice, and you just remember feeling like unstoppable. Right there, Fonseca can feel him coming. He looks over. If he can get around Fonseca, check out a little bit before he gets Brown on his tail, that'd be a big plus.
Fonseca's got a lot of incentive. He was 6th in the first moto. It sets the scene for one of his best overall events of the year. He had a 5th at Red Bud, which is his best to date. Brock Sellards, though, starting to put the heat on in second place on Fonseca on the 4-stroke.
Fonseca in that corner before, he didn't go too wide. He got right into a good berm, the second one out, and just railed through there. He's looking good right now. He watered the track a little bit. This guy's had a little tough time getting over the triple before the big tunnel jump. But Fonseca's still holding on right here. He's got a good cushion. I
don't see how they can see the right rut to hit when they get into the shade area. Fonseca, Sellards, Brown are top 3. Boniface and Foy.
Twin Cruiser.
We're back in the heat and humidity of Troy, Ohio for the second moto of the 125s after Mike Brown took the first moto. He's in third right here behind Brock Sellards. Out in front, Ernesto Fonseca.
And pulling away a little bit, seems like. As Brown can get around Sellards. I don't know. It's not like Brown has put so much pressure on Sellards that he's being held up. Sellards is holding his own right now, but you can see that Fonseca has stretched it out a little bit. This is more his style racetrack, plus that Yamaha Troy thing.
And a little bit of surprise behind them, and Steve Boniface, Amsoil Honda's representative from France. Here comes Brownie. Very aggressive move. Bar to bar they go in the timing section. Sellards doesn't want to give it up, but Brownie's got the edge on the inside.
Well, he tripled in there. Plus he had the inside already. Tripled in. That pretty much solidified that pass. But the way he got out of that corner, he was all over Sellards. Johnson used to do that to people. He would just ride their rear wheel out of a berm. Usually when you get into a corner, it gets tight, and at the exit, it separates again. Brown didn't let that happen.
Sellards doesn't want to let him off the hook.
Look how close Brown is right here. Look at the space. And he's not even, he's looking right through Sellards at the line he wants to take. He set that up perfect. Goes right to the inside, and he still managed to triple that. And this guy is not kidding around.
Mitch Payton's crew doing quite a job in that Pro Circuit Kawasaki of Mike Brown, number 100. So Brown in second place now has all eyes toward Ernesto Fonseca. You know, David, last couple of races, they've had their run-in.
Yeah, that's right. It's Red Bud. That wasn't a run-in. That was a takeout. And Unadilla, he ran him off the racetrack. You know, you can look at Brown and go, hey, that may have been a little bit of a dirty move. But Fonseca left the door wide open and kind of invited him in there. And you can see the intentions of Brown. I think Fonseca knows that now. So being out in the lead, having Brown coming, he's got a shot at getting back at him a little bit in case Brown is able to get up close.
There's Brown, Sellards, and Boniface. Boniface under the tent of Mike LaRocco at Amsoil Honda. They thought he had the potential, and right now he's showing it.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Akira Narita. You know, just every once in a while, the guy just runs at the front and shows all kinds of speed, but it's not that consistent.
Right now, he's got the potential to post his finest moto of the year. His best previous is 7th at Red Bud in the first moto. Boniface best overall. Whoa. Keith Johnson, that's Keith R. Johnson of Albuquerque, New Mexico, over in the mechanics area. I was going to say Boniface's best overall was a 9th at Bud's Creek.
And he went 10-8 for that. So that was a consistent ride. And right now, he's learning a lot. It's got to give him so much confidence to know that he's hanging with Brown and Sellards, who just lit it up the first moto.
This track holding together pretty well. Lots of predictions that it would run up a little bit in the second round, the second motos for the 125 and 250s, but it's held pretty tight.
Now it's hard enough packed. Once it develops the line, it doesn't get much deeper than that. It just gets a little choppier. I love this section.
Let's check into the mechanics area. Davey Racer X Combs. How about it, Davey?
Take a look at another one of the early casualties in the pit area. That's Paul Curry of the Plano Honda team. He's got his shirt off. I think that's because it's hot, not because he got ripped off. Part of another early crash. You see him explain to his key personnel right there.
Curry on the sideline. We got Larry Ward, the old man, out there in the heat. I say old man. He's coming back after sitting out the Supercross season, but boy, did he show us something at Red Bud. His first win of the season, and the first for the YZ250F and his Moto XXX team.
He had a string of second places going there for a while. Then he finally got an overall. And that second moto at Unadilla, where he collided with his teammate Brandis, went down. That really took him out of the rhythm he had.
There's his mechanic, Doug Stone, who helped him to that first win since 1992. Number 100, Mike Brown in second place. Trying to pull up on our leader, Ernesto Fonseca, and he's doing a pretty good job of it right now.
Got a little left there over that double out of the corner. Almost hit that blue barrel. And listening to his bike, Art, Payton has got that thing running good. It sounds potent. And chasing that four-stroke, I think that bike has kind of motivated Payton to get some more power out of Brown's bike.
Our Suzuki trivia question: what year did Guy Cooper win the 125s here at Kenworthy? The answer when we get back. Answering the trivia question, Guy Cooper did it in 1991. Here's the battle for the lead. Fonseca trying to hold off Mike Brown. Brown gets a good cut on the berm. Bar to bar we go. Can it be the four-stroke or the Pro Circuit Kawasaki? It's the Pro Circuit Kawasaki right now, a new leader in our second moto. Mike Brown wants another sweep.
And just one more time, proving to Fonseca, get out of my way. And Fonseca did. So he owns him now. I'm anxious to see how Fonseca retaliates if he can. He's got to be a little bit motivated to get back in there and stick a wheel in somewhere. Maybe more than that.
Fonseca trying to come back to regain the lead. The young man from Costa Rica, who has won a regional 125 Supercross title, but hasn't mastered really the longer motocross tracks yet.
Or Mike Brown. Mike has just owned it. Every time they get near each other, Mike gets the better of him.
Did I hear he's going to Honda, Fonseca?
I think so. I think he's signed with those guys, and looks like he's going to be riding the 250 Supercross full time in the semi with Carmichael. possibly the 125's outdoor. I haven't heard for sure yet, but it sounds like he's going to be Honda next year.
And it'll be interesting to see what Mike Brown decides. Here comes Fonseca. Back into the action. I like it. Ernesto Fonseca. Oh, he could have put him up in the weeds. Well, that was a birthday present. Because Mike Brown did the opposite a couple of races ago. The crowd's going crazy right now. The battle for first continues.
Well, you got to hand it to Ernesto. He stepped it back up. Brown had a faster pace. Caught him, tried to pull away. Ernesto caught right back up. Here was a golden opportunity. Look how far he jumps. Bottoms out. You can tell he was mad. He wants to get back in there and repay Brown a little bit. Let him know, hey, you can't just push me around. But he should have just gone straight right there. Just go straight, use him for a berm, put him up in the fence. He was a little too nice right there. Almost washes out himself, sets it right back up for Brown to get by. It was kind of a half-hearted effort. I think he let Brown know, hey, you can't push me around, but he was a little too nice right there.
It's part of the game, just like the brushback pitch in baseball. You got to do it at times.
Well, Brown and Fonseca racing with each other have opened up a pretty good lead over this pack. Huffman leading the pack. He's won here before. No slouch on this track.
Won in 97, and then looking up that fact, found out he won it in 94. 3 years in between the two wins for Damon Huffman. There's number 31, Branden Jesseman. He's having another good moto. He's coming off a 5th place finish, his best of the year. That was at Unadilla.
I'm a little surprised to see Sellers dropping back.
Let's check in with Davey.
Sean, after a ton of bad starts for Branden, it looks like this is the race he's been wanting to get into for a long time.
Yeah, we finally got off to an okay start. Branden's riding really well. He just moved into 4th. He's all over Damon Huffman. Hopefully we can maybe get a podium out of this.
This was the race last year where Branden turned it around, finishing 2nd in the 2nd moto. Maybe this will be the jumping off point you guys need for the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's what happened last year, and he's riding really well now. Hopefully we can finish there, and next couple races do well as well. So hopefully things go good for us and get some better starts too.
Damon Huffman, who really likes this track. Everybody said, well, that's because he's mostly a supercross rider back in the old days. Winning twice, has stepped up the pace. And Jesseman is trying to take advantage of that right behind him.
These guys really picking it up after the first moto. Got a good pace, moved right around Sellers. He started off good. He started off in 2nd, but he couldn't match these guys' pace. They pulled away a little bit now.
Earlier, Wyndham was talking about possibly 2 lines developing as the track wore down, and you could see in the berm that there are 2 pretty good lines right now.
Yeah, some corners with 4 berms. I love that. You got choices like that. And then look at that right there. Jesseman going to the outside, puts him to the inside the next corner. Just kind of catches Huffman by surprise, lands on the power, already opened up the gap. So Jesseman really going good here.
A super move by Jesseman.
He's a little bit like Boniface. You know, maybe there's something going on over there with that team. I don't know what it is, but every once in a while, Jesseman just steps in here and just shows us something brilliant. Watch this. What he's going to do is triple into the corner. Huffman can only double it, so you got to aim for that inside berm. Jesseman ducks right around him. Good clean pass. Puts him on the inside of the next corner in case he wouldn't have gotten that much room ahead of him. He would have had that inside. Just elbow Huffman out of that inside line and still make the move.
Outstanding move by Jesseman as he is now currently in 3rd and looking strong for his best moto finish of the year. The battle for first is on, though. Mike Brown still has Fonseca. Fonseca shows me something now.
Now he's showing Brown something, too. Brown looked over his shoulder, thought Fonseca might be trying that inside again, covered the line, so now he's riding defensive. The fastest guy on the track lately, Brown, is being hounded by Fonseca. This is the fastest I've seen Fonseca go the whole national series, and you know why? Because he's mad right now.
Brown, Fonseca, Jesseman are top 3. Langston moving into 9th. Pastrana still in 10th. Michael Brown looks like he's broken free of Fonseca now in the final lap of the 125 second moto. Mike Brown so close now of his 2nd sweep on the season.
And I like the point you kept bringing up about the fact that in Europe last year, all of his wins were sweeps, 5 of them. This will be his second win and his second sweep.
Plus, he picks up something like 17 points on Pastrana in this moto alone. What's really remarkable, I think, is that Brown has had 3 motos this year that he failed to score a point. And yet he's now moving back into contention for the 125 title, along with Grant Langston and Pastrana. All the highlights, check out Motor World on ESPN2, Tuesday, August 7th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
You know, Art, there was, and I know better than this, but there was a time as Brown starts to salute the crowd a little bit with that extra cushion over Fonseca that I pretty much counted him out of the championship. Now I'm looking at it thinking, well, the points he picked up on both Langston in this moto, and especially Pastrana, he's fighting himself back into this race. There's plenty more races left to go in the title. And I think about a soundbite, Art, back in Red Bud, the second moto, when Brown was chasing down the leaders, and Davey asked Mitch Payton, do you think Brown is going to be able to catch those guys? And Mitch Payton goes, yes. No question about it in his mind. And, you know, I've been feeling sorry for Mitch a little bit with the year he's had, all of his guys getting hurt and some bad luck, but Brown could pull this thing off yet.
Brown had options when coming back to America. Does he go with KTM or Pro Circuit Kawasaki? At the time, he wasn't sure that KTM would have such great factory support. It turns out they put together a great team. But he went with the time-tested Mitch Payton.
And it looks like he's going to stay with Mitch for 2002.
Ernesto Fonseca is not being tested for second place.
He's got somebody backed up pretty close, but he's still got enough of a lead. It's forced him to keep the pace up, which is keeping him pretty close to Brown, but it's going to be too late.
It would be his best moto of the year. A third at Hangtown was his best prior. The checkers from Mike Brown. And look at this. He's calling Fonseca over. Ernesto not quite sure he wants to get too close. It'd be interesting to be a mouse in that discussion. Looks like Mike is trying to explain something to him, David.
Oh, yeah, it looks like they're friends about this now. You know what? I think Brown is impressed that Ernesto had the nerve to get up there and race him that way.
Langston picked up more points off Pastrana. Let's go to Davey.
Mike, it was just like the first moto. You come to the gate first before anyone. You get to the finish line first.
Yeah, I'm going to start that every weekend. I tried something different this week. And, you know, first of all, I got to thank Bridgestone. My tires are great this week, man. I'm pumped on it, ready for the rest of them. And my Kawasaki Spitfire Pro Circuit Thor is awesome.
You've had some run-ins with Ernesto Fonseca the last couple weeks. Looked like he gave you a little back today.
Yeah, he did. You know, I deserve it. I've hit him 3 weekends. I told him that's racing. That's fine, you know. Whatever comes around goes around, and I'm just out there to race like he is.
As far as the championship goes, you got another big haul on points. Langston and Pastrana right back towards the end of the top 10. You're right back in the championship chase.
Yeah, I just got to not get overconfident, just go out and act like I'm still last and just go for it.
Good ride.
Thanks.
Behind Mike Brown, Ernesto Fonseca with a 6-2, taking second place overall. Brock Sellers also on the podium. Let's go back to Davey now to hear from Ernesto. That's his first podium of the year.
Well, Ernesto, I know that you and Mike Brown have had some run-ins the last couple weeks, but you got to feel good. You got a chance to get him back.
I did actually try to get him back, but Mike's tough, and, you know, it's kind of hard to say. I had a really good race going, and I didn't want to destroy it. I think he's tough. He's big. He's a big guy, and it's hard to knock him down.
That was an excellent ride. Probably the best national moto we've seen you have this year. What turned it around today?
I don't know. I got a good start, and I think I tried to get a rhythm right there, and it worked out great. My bike's working great. I want to thank Yamaha, Dunlop, Fox, Oakley, Alpine Stars, Bell Helmets. Thanks a lot.
When we come back to the race here at Troy, you're right in your sponsor, Phil Alderton's backyard. You have to feel good to put a Yamaha Troy bike up there on the podium.
Great. I think that was my goal today, and I did, and I'm so happy for the team, for Yamaha, and for myself.
As we take a look at the Suzuki point standings after 8 rounds, Langston was 44 points behind Pastrana. Brown was 59 points behind Pastrana after Red Bud. Now, Langston's 18 back. Brown only 3 behind Langston. Oh, we've got a title race on our hands. Let's go back to David.
Well, Branden, after about 100 bad starts in a row, you finally got an okay start. You never stopped charging. You got it for third.
Yes, I finally got a top 15 start anyways, and worked myself up from there. And I like this track, and I prepared for the heat. I've been working really, really hard, so it's finally starting to pay off. And I really like to thank Ames Oil, Doc Martens, Honda Factory Connection, O'Neill, Scott Goggles, and Gary Semix, and everyone for helping me get this far.
You know, last year you got second in the second moto here, and it turned your whole season around. Are you thinking you can do the same in 2001?
Yes, I'd very much like to. I mean, I've been working really hard, and I just need to get my top 15 starts down, and I should be ready to go.
Good ride. Way to keep charging.
Oh, thank you.
As we check out the style of Mike Brown on the way to 2 first-place finishes in the 2 motos today. We're not used to seeing Travis Pastrana in a slump this time of the season. Still has the points lead to handle tough times, but usually he's putting together a stretch drive for the championship right about now. But it's Langston and the aggressive riding of Mike Brown that's responsible for closing the gap here in the 125 points race. Mike Brown getting together of sorts with Ernesto Fonseca once again. They come out of it friends.